the more you keep waiting around, the more you start to realize that you're doing nothing. Nothing will ever actually happen. That's the topic. And understanding the difference between waiting around and being patient. You see, the difference is when you're waiting around, you're thinking something will happen. And maybe you might get lucky, and yes, something will magically happen. However, for the most part, nothing will ever happen because you're waiting around for nothing. Opportunity will not just come on your front doorstep and hoping to knock on your door. For the most part, you have to put in the work. You have to go out and look for it. And the difference between this and being patient and knowing that when you're patient, you're working towards something, knowing that you have to add a little bit more time until something works out. That's the difference. Now, the reason why I'm making today's video is mostly because this is something I realized, is that people often think that when they wait around long enough, something will magically happen. But for the most part, this is not the case. So understand the difference that opportunities, you must step out of your comfort zone. You gotta leave your house. You gotta meet new faces. You gotta meet new people. And the only way to do that is literally leaving your house. No matter what it is. It could be small or big. Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going to the library, whether it's going out for a walk, whether it's trying out a new restaurant, eating new food, whatever it is, understanding that opportunity will always be around you if you put yourself out there. And I know it's like, okay, well, how do I find opportunity when I'm outside? Well, for the most part, opportunity will just come to you when you're outside because you'll never know who you'll meet. You'll never know who you'll see. You know, something that I often notice is that the more people you talk to, the more you start to realize is that sometimes these people can be very beneficial. Now, you gotta understand a couple things when you are meeting new people. Unfortunately, there are like dark psychology, there are manipulation. One of the books that I always recommend is, and this has a little bit of controversial book, but I recommend it if you use it the right way. It's like Ben Parker once said, with great power comes a great responsibility. It's what you use of this knowledge of the book. And the book is called The 48 Laws of Power. I have it right here. Let me grab it for you. It's by Robert Greene. And the reason why I say read this book is because some people's attention are not great. And unfortunately, knowing this is that you must understand that when people have bad attention, this is the time when you got to realize, okay, how can I not get taken advantage? How can I use someone to help me and I can help them? And again, this book is very controversial. I'm sure people will disagree with me on this book topic. But the reason why I say this is because when you wait around and do nothing, nothing will ever happen. But when you meet new people, meet new faces, this is a time where you can make new opportunity for yourself. This is a time where you could set yourself up for the future, for a better life. And of course, you can also help them, vice versa. Another thing that you must understand is that when you want to create a new life, you just gotta start. The difference between creating the life that you want and consuming the life that you want. And the difference is you gotta take action. You gotta start creating and stop consuming the things that you see off the internet. Stop consuming what you see around you and just create. And the best way to create, no matter what you're pursuing in life, is just start. No matter what it is. I kid you not, the hardest part is starting. And I know this by a fact because every time I need to do something or every time I need to start a new hobby, a new habit, a new skill set, or learn something new, the hardest part for me is just starting. But why is this? Well, the reason for this is because the unknown. We don't really know how to really start. We don't really know where to start. So when we get this idea of not really knowing where to start, we start to second guess ourselves. We start to overanalyze the idea of what we have to do. And once you start to realize is that you start to see more opportunity. You start to see more new things come to your life. Again, you gotta remember that you can't do the same thing every single day. You can't do something very repetitive. And it could be even the smallest thing, whether it's eating out every day, whether it's going on to a new restaurant every week, whatever it is, things like that, you gotta remember to switch it up once in a while. Change up the scenery. That's why I always say, like, you should always try to move out of your hometown if you have the chance or opportunity, because the reason for this, and I go for the saying, is because when you do this, you start to meet new people. You start to see opportunity in a new city or a new country or a new state, whatever you're going to. And you start to see a different lifestyle around this new city, and things will happen differently for you. But yeah, I mean, the more you stop waiting around, the more you start creating and stop consuming, you'll start to see your life dramatically change in a heartbeat. And of course, this really all comes down to you. And once you start doing this more often, you'll start to see new things will come in play. You start to see that life has more opportunities than you realize. And this is something I used to be very guilty of, not really putting myself out there, constantly just waiting around for absolutely nothing. And knowing this is like, what would I do in this whole time? Well, I guess I would do nothing, but I was really in the fantasy world thinking that things will just come in play, right? Everything will happen for a reason, which it does ideally, but you gotta create, you gotta start, you gotta do something to create that mentality of everything will happen for a reason, because the more you start creating, everything will fall in place. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I'll see you guys tomorrow, so have a good one and peace.